Forgive the throat clearing. I just finished dinner and figured I'd jump on YouTube while I do a little editing, catch up with some people. Mr. Nick, what's up, dude? How you doing? Can you hear me okay? Hopefully I've got everything set up the right way here. I think by this point I'd be pretty fluent in how to do all this stuff, but I don't usually do live streams directly from the laptop on the Splorin station. Excellent. Good to hear. How you doing tonight, Nick? Still thinking about making your way down here? Amanda, what's up? Welcome aboard. Bob and Ashley, hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Looks like we've got 5 people joining us so far. The time change is just absolutely destroying me today, as it tends to do. Already got your tickets, Nick. Good to see you, sir. So I've got to work on editing an episode of the podcast that debuts on Friday. But because of the time change, I'm like wrecked, just destroyed. So I'm hoping maybe by doing the live stream thing, it'll keep me awake long enough to actually get all this stuff done. Give me 1 second. There we go. I had to send a quick text out. So, Bob and Ashley, you been out to the Flower and Garden Festival yet? You get your obligatory magnet? Went up there yesterday and got a handful of them. I kept walking past and they kept handing them to me. Wasn't trying to get extra ones, but first day, oh, that's right, you got stuck in that soup over there with all the ridiculous traffic and all that craziness. I heard about that. I did not have the guts to try venturing out until this last weekend. I gotta say, I went on Saturday with Ian, and wasn't that bad. I was actually surprised. It was like calm and clear and crazy. Ashley wanted the Super Cup. Would that be the orange bird, citrus bird, or whatever they call them, cup that I saw a whole bunch of people walking around with? So I'm going to be editing the video as we talk tonight, and there is a decent chance you guys might actually hear some of the audio from Friday. I'm not sure if I've got it set up to go through there or not, but we'll find out. Tampa J, Pokey Porter, what's up, guys? Jay, you look good in blue. So bear with me if suddenly you start hearing some of the intro go across the audio. Let's see what happens when I do this. Let me know if you hear the audio. I'm hearing the you guys are not. Bob is telling me that you are getting the audio. Mr. Harry the Hammer, what's up, dude? Harry, I know you know most of the people here. Harry, have you met on YouTube Bob and Ashley? Mauricio or Splorin. Thank you, Maury. I appreciate it. Orlando Theme Park 360. Brian, what's up? Audio editing, yes, please. At the moment, I'm actually editing the video the way that I've been doing my podcast thus far. Little behind the scenes of the magic. I record the podcast itself via video. I do like the unmade bed behind me. We're not doing the actual podcast, so I could let my hair down tonight here on Splorin. I record the interview via video on Google Hangouts live on air. I don't know if you guys have ever used it before, but it's a lot like regular Hangouts. It gives you a lot more options, and it records directly from Google Hangouts over to YouTube. So I just put it on unlisted. I send the link out to Mega Podtastic. What's up, Joe? You are the video that I'm editing here tonight, by the way, Joe. I send the link out to somebody such as, let's say, Joe, who has been interviewed. That person clicks the link, and they are brought into the video interview. We record via video. It automatically adjusts back and forth via whoever is speaking is who the camera focuses on. When it's all said and done, I dump the MP4 down to MP3, move that over to Audacity. The video version of, actually, let me take that back. I dump the video onto HitFilm Express. I don't know if you guys have ever used that. Out with Bobby. What's up, dude? I dump the video onto HitFilm Express, which is a free editing software. It's somewhat simplified, which is all I need. I'm not doing all the weird transitions and stuff. I edit out as much of the weird stuff as possible, like people walking into the room or audio flubs or anything like that. Then I save it down, add the intro, add the outro. Then I dump it onto Audacity as an MP4, edit it down there, turn it into an MP3, normalize, play with all the audio levels and stuff like that, dump it back out of Audacity, upload it onto Libsyn. Libsyn does all the stuff for me in terms of moving it out to iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, all those platforms. I still have to put all the raw metadata into it, stuff like that. So honestly, the process, if you look at recording the interview, editing down the video, editing the audio, uploads, downloads, all that kind of stuff, any episode I have is probably going to have at least 6-ish hours of work behind it. So I'm trying to get it knocked out tonight because I'm not sleeping these days. As you can see by the bags under my eyes and the large planet that seems to be developing, which happens anytime that I get too tired, because I spend most of my evenings trying to keep up with the podcast, which is cool. I love it. It's working. People are saying it's actually helpful. Pardon me. Got hair in my mouth. Can I ask a favor of all of you who are here? I'm trying to get the Limelight DIY YouTube page moving a little too. I was trying to keep people off of that for a little while until I had some content up. I've got 2 interviews and 1 little breakout thing. Before you log off of YouTube tonight, can you take a look at go onto the search bar, look for Limelight DIY. If you could subscribe, that would be huge. Like I said, I'm trying to get the numbers up there a little bit as well. Working on a press packet and things like that. I want to say there's like 15 people subscribed to the YouTube page, which is fine. I've never made a push on the YouTube page. It's not the product isn't a YouTube channel. It's definitely a podcast. But now there is content on the YouTube channel. You could actually watch, at the moment, 2 interviews. I've got the Carpetbagger interview up there, and I've got the Chris Aiken interview up there. Chris Aiken, if you don't know him, is a old friend of mine, 20 odd years back. He actually gave me my start in radio and in print, but he is a shock jock as well as published author, big in the music scene. He does a podcast. He's been on terrestrial radio. He's Survivor. I mean, tough as nails. This guy was in years ago. He got back from the military. He was early 80s, mid 80s maybe. He was in a steel plant working when he got back from his time in the military, and he was well, I don't know what exactly happened, but they dumped about 7 tons of molten steel on him, and he survived. They didn't think he was going to survive. They called all his family to the hospital and said say goodbye to him. Bubbles, sup? Yeah, they called his family, said say goodbye to him. I mean, like the skin was just gone. You could see his bones and all that stuff. He didn't want to die. He's like I said, he's he's tough as nails. He's a bit of an ass at times, but aren't we all? But that actually worked to his favor. He was too stubborn to die. He fought his way back and has been quite successful. So I've got his interview up there. Peaches, what's up? I saw your singing channel the other day. I was very impressed with that. You've got a voice to you. It's awesome. I didn't know until I saw the channel that you were a vocalist, but very cool stuff. You've definitely got a good voice on you. So I've got the interview with Chris Aiken up. I've got the interview with the Carpetbagger up. Those are the only two that I've got up so far. I did put a little thing this morning about the YouTube group. If you guys are not familiar with it already, I said YouTube group. There is a Facebook group. There's a Facebook page for the podcast, but there's also a Facebook group, and that is called Limelight DIY. Creators helping creators, and I've actually kind of moved the Limelight DIY to the end, so it's creators helping creators, powered by Limelight DIY. The group is not about the podcast. In fact, we generally don't really talk about the podcast all that often. Chris Kaufman, what's up, dude? The group is actually just about independent creators. It's a place for creators to get together and swap stories. Actually, since we've got Brian from Orlando Theme Park 360 here, he did something that really made my day the other day. Sean Cody, what's up? Cindy, good to see you. Cindy, it's been a year since we met today, by the way. 1 year ago today, Cindy, you and I met. So anywho, Brian went onto the group last week, and he's got a project he's working on, and he was looking for a graphic designer, and he posted on there, and 3 people who were in the group are also graphic designers, and they responded that they wanted to help out with the thing. And this is exactly what the group is for. So if you are an independent creator of any sort, don't have to be a YouTuber, we've got people on there. Give you an idea, we've got photographers on there, we've got YouTubers, of course, we have other podcasters, we have the freaking former lead singer of Judas Priest. We've got radio people. We've got filmmakers. We've got animators. The group is roughly 60 people right now. It's not an open group. You do have to actually, quote unquote, apply, but we haven't really turned anyone away yet. As long as we can verify who you actually are, we want to bring you in. And again, we're allowed to promote to each other. We encourage people promoting to each other. We encourage people helping each other, talking about their platform, sharing their challenges, sharing what they've learned. We've actually got a mentorship program that we're working on right now. It's only been up for a week, but it's going really well. Melissa, hey, what's up? It's been absolutely great, and it has been very gratifying to see how many people have jumped in and really embraced it and are helping each other. So the 2 things I'm going to ask you, if you haven't done so already, jump onto, at some point tonight, the Facebook group, Creators Helping Creators. In fact, why don't I show you a picture of it so when you get to it, you know it's the right one. I know there's 1,000,001 Facebook groups all over the place. This particular one is, like I said, it's not about, even though it was named after the show, it's not about the podcast. We have a Facebook page for Limelight DIY, and that's about the podcast. But this one, Limelight DIY, Creators Helping Creators to Grow. Not the best view, I know. But if you see that one, you were in the right place. Definitely, please join up. And if you join up tonight, do me a favor. I want you to promote yourself. The first post when you come on and you join the page is, I want you to jump in there and say, my name is, this is my platform. If it's a channel on YouTube, share your channel. If you're a musician, share a few tracks from your album. If you are a stand-up comedian, show one of your sets. If you are a photographer, link us to your portfolio or show a couple photos at this point. We want people to promote. It's not going to be turning one of these things where we want you to go on there every single week and do it. But my name is Sam is here. What's up, Sam? I met Sam about a week ago. And Sam, it's funny, I knew who he was because he's a friend of friends. And Jackie, what's up? I met Sam about a week ago, and I'd heard of his channel and all that. It's funny, I knew who Sam was, but then I got home later that night. I'm like, I'm going to watch a couple more of Sam's things. And I started going through it, and I'm like, huh, I remember watching this one like 6 months ago, and I didn't know that was Sam. Oh, no, I remember this one. I remember, apparently, Sam, I've been watching all your stuff for a while, and I just had no idea it was you. So it's kind of funny how this community works when we run into each other. Negro Orlando, Mr. Sean, what's up, dude? So the wrenches have popped up. So nobody curse except for me. I'm sure Sean will probably curse too, but that's the two big things. If you can tonight, jump into the Facebook group, join up, share, promote yourself, help other people promote, help yourself. If you've got anything that's going on that you're trying to figure out how to do something, share it in the group. You'd be amazed how many people are going, oh, I've had that problem. Here's how I fixed it. And it's been great. And the other thing is, of course, the Limelight DIY YouTube channel. If you get a second, subscribe to it. It would be huge. I would appreciate it. I'm not going to turn this entire live stream into me begging for subscribers. I really need to work on editing this tonight, but I was hoping we could all just kind of talk and chill and enjoy each other's company while I'm doing it, because the time change is killing me and I will fall asleep if I do not have someone to hold me accountable tonight. So, funny thing, by the way, this shirt, Rampage. Rampage, and forgive the bobbling microphone. Rampage is my favorite classic video game. Has been for years. We had on the podcast this last week was Brandon, Retrospectrum. If you haven't seen his channel, Retrospectrum, he is also one of the people who puts on the Free Play Florida convention every year, which is one of the fastest growing gaming conventions in the country, and definitely the biggest one here in Orlando. Great guy, great convention. This is where last year Greg and Jackie and Sean and myself all went out and met up with like Nathan Barnett and the Angry Video Game Nerd and people like this. The King of Kong, all that stuff. Had a great time. If any of you watch any of our videos, you've probably seen them before. The 2019 dates have just been announced. So if you are at all interested, what, Rob Halford? No, not Rob Halford. Rob Halford is not in the group. Tim Ripper Owens is in the group. Tim is from my neck of the woods back in Cleveland. He's a little closer to Akron. Tim joined Judas Priest back in the day. I want to say it was like 96, something like that, 95, 96, 97, or somewhere in that range. And he took Rob Halford's place when Rob left the band and went on to pursue some of his other things like Two or Halford or Fight. And actually, if you've seen the movie Rockstar, that movie is actually loosely based on Tim Ripper Owens and his career with Judas Priest. He was with Judas Priest for several years until he left. Rob came back, and then Tim went from one of my favorite bands, Judas Priest, to another one of my favorite bands, which was Iced Earth. Iced Earth is an amazing progressive power metal group out of Tampa, I want to say. They do a lot of concept albums, but they're just absolutely fantastic musicians. The big thing with them is they've always had these singers that are just absolutely incredible. They had Matt Barlow, who was my favorite vocalist of all time, and then when he left, I'm like, oh, this is bad. They picked up Tim Ripper Owens, and Tim came on and put out some great stuff. So Tim is in the group. You're probably not going to see him chime in all that often. I interviewed Tim for WMMS when I was still in the whole radio game years back. Tim's a great guy. Tim is currently doing his own projects. He ended up leaving Iced Earth as well. He does a lot of tours. He was with Dio Disciples for a while. If anyone remembers Ronnie James Dio, there was a tour of groups that had worked with him, and he was out on that leg for a while. But Tim's a great guy. Tim is technically in the group, but again, Tim is not going to be the guy that chimes in all that often. I know that much about him. but it's cool that he's there. We do have several other musicians that are there as well. Some of them have gotten pretty far in the whole game. We got some session players. We got some people who have opened and played with and recorded with all these groups that you've heard of before. Mostly because, again, it's people I knew who invited into the group to begin with. Most of them were metal, punk, hardcore, hard rock type of people. But the group is starting to grow past that, and that's awesome. We're starting to get a lot of photographers in the group, which is cool. We're starting to get a lot of graphic artists in the group. I'd like to get some more public speakers. I'd like to get some more actors. I'd like to get some more stand-up comedians. I'm actually working on a couple of stand-up comedians right now for the show, which would be incredible if we can get it locked down soon. Again, some people I know, people I haven't talked to in years, generally. I'm working on an interview, if I can get things set up with him, with someone who has been on a fairly popular television show. He actually created the show that aired for almost 10 years before it went off the air. He fell off recently. Kitschy, what's up? Funeral host and Michael McCabe, the stream sniper. What's up, my friends? How's everybody doing tonight? I just saw Jay yell Seinfeld. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I agree. Seinfeld. So where were we? Oh yeah. So we're editing the podcast tonight on Hit Film Express. Has anyone here ever used Hit Film Express before? It's simple in that it doesn't do a ridiculous amount of things. It's free. It doesn't do a ridiculous amount of things. You can buy additional packs to make it do special effects and stuff like that. For what I'm doing, I don't need it, so I'm not messing with that stuff. The learning curve wasn't huge, but I still keep stumbling onto some little issues. Actually, I'm probably going to go to the Facebook group when we get done here and see if anybody else has used Hit Film Express. Put a couple questions out there and see if anyone can answer. What the Swedes is here. Let's see who else is here. I think I saw everybody else who is in here at the moment. So I'm working on trying to get the podcast cut down tonight, and this is Joe, Crazy Joe from the Mega Podtastic podcast. I don't know if anyone has had a chance to download Mega Podtastic, but it's fantastic. It's a great show. Joe has been doing it for several years. He is generally in the geek sphere, and I mean that lovingly. He's going to be talking about the superhero movies that are out, the sci-fi movies that are out. He's going to be talking to the people who actually create them. I know he's had people from the Monkees have been on his podcast. He's had Chuck. We all know Chuck, the show Chuck. Well, Chuck, currently starring as Shazam, was on the podcast. He guided us some great stuff. Got a great interview right here with him that I'm trying to cut down. If you haven't already checked out Mega Podtastic, please do yourself a favor and give it a listen, give it a subscribe. Joe is fantastic. Tell him that Splorin sent you guys over. I definitely want him to know that we're showing him the love. He's had a busy week, and we're trying to make sure that Joe knows that everyone loves him, because Joe is a real good guy. So, I was about to ask you guys something, and I completely forgot what it was. This is that whole time change exhaustion thing I was talking about. Here we go. So, working on editing down this podcast. Like I said, here and there as I edit this, because I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to talk to you guys. You guys talk too, and I'll do some editing. You, if you haven't been around for more than the last couple of minutes, as I edit it, the audio will come through not only my headphones and the microphone, but you'll probably hear some of it too. So you're going to get a little bit of behind the scenes tonight as to what this week's podcast with Crazy Joe is going to come out sounding like. So bear with me. Case in point. Let's take a look at, here we go. Nope, that's the intro. Moving on. Where are you, Crazy Joe? Here we go, sir. Wonderful. Let's get you locked up there. Again, using Hangouts on Air. If you're just joining us, I record on Hangouts on Air for the video. I end up moving the video after I've recorded it. I move it over to Hangouts on Air. I cut it down. I try to make it as close to the finished product as possible, and then I dump it out on an MP4. I move that into an MP3 in Audacity, and then I use Audacity to cut it down some, normalize it, and do all the things like, make sure the bass and the treble are at a good level, bring the mid-range down, make sure that none of the audio is clipping or popping and stuff like that. It takes a ridiculous amount of time, but I'd be lying if I said it's not kind of fun. Not when I'm exhausted like I am right now and look like crap like I do right now. But hey, I'm 40. Leave me alone. Brace yourself for audio. Let me turn the volume down just a little bit. See if I can keep from blasting you guys with it as we edit here. Let's play it on. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I had a little bit of a cold when I did this one. The audio, the podcast audio you hear is usually about 4 weeks old by the time it gets to you guys. It takes me a while to cut it down and to edit it and do all that stuff. So I give myself about a 4-week period. At any given moment, I've got several episodes of the podcast that are in the can. I keep, hey Todd, what's up, dude? That I keep ready just in case. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Anyone here who has a family or just honestly is human knows that things come up sometimes and you get sidelined and things happen. So I want to make sure that I've always got extra episodes ready to go, which is where we are now. All right. More audio coming your way shortly. I was originally going to do this in a way that you could see the screen share, but honestly, I was having some trouble with that tonight. YouTube was being persnickety. Is that a good word for it? Finicky, troublesome, pain in the ass. So it didn't end up happening. Let's see. Let's try this again. Oh, that's the other thing. Crazy Joe is now on YouTube as well. If you haven't already subscribed to his YouTube channel, definitely give that a little bit of a view as well. Joe's one of those truly excellent guys. He gets along with everybody. And I know people are like, well, nobody gets along with everybody. He gets along with everybody. Joe is a good guy. Joe calls it like he sees it, but he does it in a way that he doesn't have to, jump up in people's faces and bludgeon them with his opinions. And that's a rarity. And that's a very admirable quality. I want to see Joe succeed. And he has been succeeding, but I want to see him succeed past even what he's succeeded with. Should we hear the podcast? You'll hear little bits and pieces of the podcast. Brian is the guess at this point. Let's play back now. Did you guys hear anything? Let me know if you hear it. Say something. All right, let's see if it goes over. Oh, you're not hearing the audio. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, that's good. I actually was not trying to do it in a way that you'd all hear the audio. I just couldn't figure out how not to, but I know a couple people earlier said that they caught part of the audio. So I'm not sure what is up with that, but here we are, I suppose. So I probably won't keep the stream going terribly long then, because I don't want to bore you guys when I go off to long spats of plugging away at the audio. Plus, I'm sure my kids are going to come running in here to say goodnight in a few minutes anyways. But Daryl, what's up, dude? Had to get up at 4:30. Ooh, what time are you going to actually be at work by, Daryl? That's crazy. I was getting up at 5 o'clock a couple of years ago, and I thought that was just awful. These days, I actually sleep probably till about 6 to 6:30, which is really nice. Yeah, let's see, 6:30. Oh, I feel for you, sir. I really do. So one of the reasons I picked this interview with Crazy Joe, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Jed. One of the reasons I picked this particular podcast to edit tonight is because Joe did a really good job and nothing crazy happened with it. So it should be fairly easy and fairly quick for me to edit this particular one. So I'm kind of cheating tonight, if I'm being honest about it, which is what I need to do because I'm ridiculously tired with this time change. So, well, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Let you guys get back to your evening. I appreciate you coming by. Thanks for chatting with me for a few minutes and keeping me awake while I started working on this. It makes a huge difference. Again, person joining the group, Cindy, of course. I sent you an invite earlier today already. Take a look at your Facebook. It's already in there. Like I said, give the group a check and give the Limelight channel on YouTube a check if you don't mind. And that would be my wife peeking in. Hold on one second. What's up? Your headphones, okay. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second before you leave, Sam. I got something to ask you. How's about that? I stand up and my ankles give out on me because I've been sitting in one place for far too long. Sam, I need to reach out to you. What is best for a PM? Would that be Twitter? Would that be Instagram? Would that be YouTube? Would that you tell me, Sam? I have a question for you, sir. Let's see. What else? Anyone else? Talk soon. Yes. Chris Kaufman going to bed. Chris, have a good night. Twitter is easier, but any is fine. Cool. I will hit you probably tomorrow, Sam. I'm going to tell you right now, I will probably not be coherent in a couple of hours, which is amazing because I don't drink or do anything. I just lose all coherency on my own. Yeah, I'll hit you tomorrow, dude. I want to check with you. And I know you're going to be traveling a lot over the next several weeks anyway. So, all right, folks, I appreciate each and every one of you who stopped by tonight. It does really make a difference to me, and I appreciate it so much. If you haven't already checked out the group, you haven't already checked out the other page, I definitely appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, all of you, please, safe evening. Have a good evening. Enjoy your week. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything crazy and get caught. And peace out, folks.